When I think of Coach Denbrock, I think of actually some really great memories, and I just think of a guy that uh, everybody loved. Like everybody always loved Coach Denbrock, and he was always kind of one of those guys that I felt like was we always had a hot tempered coaching staff on offense, and and Coach Denbrock was one of those guys that he has his own intensity, but at the same time, like he always feels so grounded. Um, and
He's definitely a guy's guy. The receivers loved
yeah,
him,
the
and I don't
the
know how
res-
much he was like into technique, but the guys in the room loved him.
yeah, yeah, that's kind of my take on him as well. I just feel like he's one of those guys, and a true um, like one of those guys that inspires greatness. So just you would go into his room. The running backs would go into the receivers room a lot, and you would hear him and just kind of like the intensity at which he would talk about execution. Um, I mean, he was one of those guys that uh, he would make you feel like, if we're talking about a specific play and play design and who it's going to, um, he would make you feel like, you're the guy to get this done and get this executed. And um, I just felt like he had a way um, of really connecting with players. And so I've always loved that about Coach Denbrock. And it's great to see that he's had so much success everywhere that he has been. And then obviously this last year at LSU, and what he was able to do there with that high powered offense. So I'm excited. I think it's a great fit. I think that it's from everything that I continue to see from Coach Freeman. He seems like the personality fit seems to be there as well. I think he's going to provide some wisdom and experience that obviously is going to be key and crucial. Um, and then hopefully just the ability to bring like a really successful balanced attack, because I think that's been one of the things that has been difficult for Notre Dame to like really establish over um, well, definitely over the last like couple years, is really getting the running game going and the passing game going at a really high level. And I think usually we've either teetered to one side or the other, to where, for example, last year we had a really strong running game. And I think everybody thought that we were going to have a much more effective passing game than we did. And I think somebody like Denbrock is a guy that can put the pieces of the puzzle together and get that offense firing in a way that everybody's excited to see.
And when Cam says everybody's excited to see, you know what he's really saying, Sean? Denbrock knows how to make stars. Not stars of the program where guys are happy in the building and the fan favorite. Stars that actually daytime TV is talking about.
Yeah, it's true.
ESPN got to talk about specific players, not just Notre Dame. Oh, that guy Audrey Estimate, that's a bad fella.
Right.
Stephen A. Smith, that's a bad fella over there at Notre Dame. Because he knows how to make stars, not just good offenses, stars. He turned, and for Deuce Knight to be excited, he sees that he made Jay Daniels a star.
Yeah.
If
Let
Gino Gaduli claiming Desmond Ritter is turning him to a star, I don't know. But he can
mm,
he can look at the future and see that, okay, this is a Heisman guy we're dealing with. I know that I can trust that in terms of developing myself. And that's Notre Dame has always missed that from some key positions, is that confidence that I listen, this guy, I can get to the league. Carnell Tate missed that from the receiver room. A guy like Denbrock to the offense, he can feel a little bit better that he's gonna call the plays that neighbors had, right? What's the
Yeah.
other receiver LSU had? What's his
Thomas,
name?
Thomas
Thomas.
and Neighbors, yeah.
Okay, I may not have a position coach just yet, but I like what's in there. But I know the offense is gonna put me in a position.
Yeah. And on that too, Malik, like what I remember from my experience at Notre Dame and kind of just like how he would dial in on the playmakers of our team. Like for example, like freshman year, it was Michael Floyd. I mean, obviously, like it was the Michael Floyd show, and he was an instrumental part of making sure that we were getting the ball to Mike and making sure that he was getting the touches that he needed. And then our sophomore year, it was Theo in the running back room. And so him and Coach Alford were working together to make sure, like, hey, let's get him in the backfield. Let's get him in the slot. Let's put him anywhere that we need to put him to make sure that Theo Riddick has the ability to make a play in this game. And then our junior year, it was TJ Jones.
Yep,
And
TJ. And
he
then
turned,
it was DeVaris, and then it was
yep.
Will, right?
So,
And that's when we went back to one running back had like 10,000 carries in the season, but we had a staple of running backs. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But you knew, but you remember players like Will. You remember players like Eifert.
totally.
We was the first in the country, I'd say, where we're like, oh, listen, we're just gonna line him up 1-on-1. He a tight end, but it don't matter because he's getting it.
Yep. You're
Literally
right.
forcing the ball to players. Like that's, I don't want to say that's his game. That's why I just dressed it up as he knows how to make stars.
Well, totally forgot about Ive, honestly, but you're exactly right. I mean, even freshman and sophomore year, that's when I think my freshman year is the first year that Denbrock was with the tight ends, and
See?
he's the one that literally developed. I mean, dude, when I got there, you wouldn't have thought, like, in training camp, that Ive was going to be like the dude. Like, you wouldn't have thought that. Like, he was dropping balls. Like, he was
Yeah.
did not look like the Ive that started to see develop that season into the absolute star and legend that he now is at Notre Dame. And then by our sophomore year, like, we had somebody that, we had this deficit with Michael Floyd, but Ive was coming up as this
We just
star.
coming up, yeah.
And so, like, and then he goes out and recruits Will. He's got
Corey
DeVaris.
Robinson. I mean, he made something out of Corey Robinson. Like, who's doing that?
Dude, that guy's hands. That
Yeah.
guy's hands are still some of the most insane, naturally gifted hands I've ever seen from a guy that just
Ever.
wanted to play beach volleyball.
Yeah,
Dude,
a
just
guy that never wanted to play
he
football.
he
Like,
wanted to study Italian and play beach volleyball. Like,
yeah,
this
this brother
guy,
did
man,
everything but football you would think was interesting to him. And then he'll go out there and do some things you like, man, you're just gifted. Like, how do
just gifted, bro.
you are your dad's
Oh,
son for real.
yes, yes, he is. I love that guy so much. It's awesome. Yeah, but lots to be excited about with Denbrock for sure, man. The guy is definitely a special character, and obviously incredible at what he does as a coach, especially on the offensive side of the ball, and really just finding playmakers and developing offensive schemes around it, which I think is so huge. Like, an offensive coordinator that is able to really, like, take their personnel and develop schemes around their personnel rather than, I've got this scheme and I'm going to make my personnel fit into my scheme. Um, that that to me is you have to have that in today's age of football, because there's so much fluctuation and versatility like, year to year with the team. I mean, we're gonna have a whole new quarterback this year. We gotta like reinvent our offense, like, once again. I mean, Audric's gonna be gone. We're still gonna have, like, strong running back room. We've got transfers, like, going out, transfers coming in, and it's just rebuilding the personality of that team, and a scheme that's going to fit them in a customized and tailored way. And I can't think of a better guy to do that, from my experience, than Mike Denbrock.